Hi everyone. Um, a few weeks ago, I was thinking of making some videos to talk about um, everything that's going on and how potentially maybe some tips and helps to deal with it from a very layman's point of view. I'm not a trained expert, but I have been meditating for a long time on a daily basis, and this situation is so different, and no one's ever dealt with anything like this before, including me, anyone that's alive. So I have been using some of these helps and the meditations throughout a long time, and they have been helping in these situations, and I'm hoping that would help others, and it's been helping me throughout this current environment, plus some other things that I have got going on as well. So for me, to deal with any crisis in life, having I feel like I have a fallback to that kind of trust in the process of meditation, and trust in the process of yourself, that you have within yourself the ability to, the what's the term I'm looking for, the resourcefulness, I think is the term. I don't know. It's inside you. That you can use when things get difficult. So yeah, this, I wanted to keep it very brief. So what I wanted to really talk about was there is obviously a lot of uncertainty, and human beings don't like that. We like to plan, we like to have control, we like to always be in one step ahead of everything, and this is obviously not a situation that where we can plan and be one step ahead, because don't know what's going to happen. So there are some things that you can use, and I just wanted to touch base on a couple of really small things that you could even just think about, and maybe help. That may help. Right, so I have some points here which I have a practice, and I also do daily kind of journaling. And sometimes I don't journal after meditation. It depends on how the day pans out. But if I find something, if it's a podcast or a guided meditation, or in general a really good book with really some good content, that some thought-provoking words in it, I usually write that down, or write how I feel about it, and try and kind of use that for my own benefit. So I know we talked about uncertainty, so I there's a lot of pressure even in uncertainty to kind of rock the lockdown. Although we're saying it, there are lots of memes I've seen where we'll come out the lockdown with it, having learned a new language, having learned a new skill. I just don't understand, people can't it's that culture of like, keep going, there's you can't bloody stop. Just stop. Take a second to listen to yourself. There's so much. Take this time. I want to use an example of, I also heard in another podcast someone talking about a kind of reference to this situation. My thinking of it was, think of it as a small, we're all a small caterpillar currently in a cocoon, we don't really get that chance to, as an adult, you don't really get a chance to be a cocoon. You may get holidays once or, you know, twice a year at the max. You know, most of us were, and it's a constant cycle. And this, although this is as shit as it is, take this time as an opportunity to look at yourself, the things that you could potentially, you know, change the way you look at it. I'm not saying that you could change it in an instant and be like, yeah, you know, again, that kind of puts us back into that pressure and the cycle. And I think, yeah, so I think we just take this time to kind of take stock, and come out of this, whenever that may be, as a butterfly. I mean, that's my reference to it. But you know, you again, we don't. And I don't want to put you know, I don't want to put that as like, all right, we come out of this having learned lots of skills. But I think that's a good reference. And also, the other one that I heard in a different podcast from, I don't know the name of the person, unfortunately, was it was actually a live stream. And it just randomly popped up. But it was a good reference. What she is in Canada, and kind of in the remote area of I don't know where she is actually, and she referred to this period of time as hibernation, because you know there are bears where she is, and she referred to this period as kind of a bear going into hibernation. And we could use that as well, you know, think of this as time as to develop, you know, or just open that path up for yourself for self-development. We may have a lot of people go through their adult life not wanting to deal with their past traumas, and I'm not saying that potentially includes me. We all learn things when we're a child, what we thought we should be. We learn that from other people, your friends, your family. Yeah, this is how things should be, and you agree, and you think that's what, you know, your world should look like. It's not true. It could, you know, so you could take this time to kind of learn a bit about yourself. The first topic I wanted to actually cover was about, you know, fear and the uncertainty that creates fear in our environment, and how we can use compassion to kind of deal with that fear. As humans, I don't think that we can ever flick a switch and go, you know, I'm out of it. Sometimes it happens, but for me it doesn't. It's a constant work. I always work on myself. You know, for anger, for issues from childhood to do so, I have constantly worked on myself. So yeah, so this is actually what I wanted to talk about in this video. However, obviously that's not how it turned out. I talked about some other random shit. So what I'll do, it's nearly 10 minutes of video. So what I'm going to do is I will try and plan it a little bit better and see if I can talk you know, 2 point, and keep it 2 point in the next video. But I really do want to share what I feel, and it's I can't say it's just because I know how to deal with it. I don't, and nobody knows. It's a way to kind of maybe help somebody's boredom, my own, you know, help to deal with my own, what I wanted to say, you know, etc. So yeah, so if you were ever listening to this, thank you very much for listening, and I hope a couple of these things that I said was ever slightly off, was of any help dealing with with how things are at the moment. And I will continue to create these videos. You could think this is random shit, you know, you don't give a fuck, but you know, but I want to make it, so I'm sorry. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.